Welcome, J Fusion fans, to another toy review, and in today's episode, we are going to take a look at Sodo Kamen Rider Claws Evol. So, this is a recently released Sodo action figure, along with the Gates Revive forms. So, yes. And looking at this figure, it has rope parts at the back similar to Kamen Rider Evol Black Hole, except that there's a blue gradient instead of like crimson. So there we go. Looking at the figure, it has the typical Kamen Rider Claws jacket, which of course you can open, and if you take out the robe parts, actually it kind of looks like your typical Kamen Rider Claws. So let's take a look at this figure. So for movement, you have the head. Now you can move it up and down, but only limited. Also, well, you can move the head sideways, but the collar will hit the chin, so it can only move until this part. So that's the maximum sideway movement limit, and then it can mostly look down if you move up and down. It's if you if you force it to look up, the head will pop off. I tried. So for the jacket, again, you can open it like this. So there you go. So so if you want to make a Kamen Rider Claws Evol look like he has wings, you can absolutely do that. Now, the arms, you can see that there's a shoulder armor in there. Usually for parts like these, they still require to be assembled, but this one already came in assembled, so like it's already there when you open the box, which by the way, I have here. So this is how the packaging looks like. You can see that I've already opened it, so I can see the instructions for the stickers, but yeah, they look like this originally. There you go, the A side and the B side. So the A side actually has most of the body in there. So the head, the right arm, there's a piece that you stick into the torso. You have the jacket, the left leg, and the stand parts. So for the B side, you get the robe parts. You get basically the left side of the body with the right leg. So the legs are separate, and you get actually a Pandora box. There you go. So I've already put them together. So as you can see here. So for the arms, by the way, going back to the articulation, so you can move the arms like this, but if you want the arm to move like this horizontally, you actually have to open the jacket, or else the jacket will be in the way. So like this, it's hard to move the arm to its full range with the jacket down. So yeah, you need to do that. You need to open the arms if you want to move it like that. But you still have your upper arm joints, so you can roll like this, right? And because this is part of the build series of Sodo figures, the hands are fixed like this. So unlike the Geo Sodo figures, which actually have interchangeable hands, and typically you have the closed fist, or Actually, it's a combination of a closed fist and a grip hand, so you can, just attach any accessory or any weapon if you have. But you also have the open hand, which is more like this instead of a fully open hand, but you still get the idea. So the torso can move around sideways and can be split into two if you want. Again, the robe parts, so I'm just gonna move the arms like this. So you can move the arms forward. So if you want like more open arm pose, then you need to move the arms forward instead of just raising them sideways. So you need to get around it like this. So that's how you move the arms if the jacket's down. So you have the robe parts like this, moving sideways. You can move them around a little bit thanks to the ball joints here. Again, you can remove the robe, and you also have a hole right here, so you can use the stand. For the legs, so you have the bottle holder here, so you can remove this, but I won't. You have, of course, the forward motion. You can roll the joints right here in the thigh, and then the knees, and the ankle joints, of course. So let's take a look at the right side, because this has more freedom of movement. So there you go. Without anything stopping the right leg, you can completely open it like that. And then you until here. So that's the maximum bend. So that is the main figure for Kamen Rider Claws Evol. Now, I have shown you earlier through the packaging the other accessories. So we have here the Pandora box. So it's a complete Pandora box. Now there are older Sodo figures from the build lineup that have Pandora panels. Again, this is more or less a complete box. They only left this part open. And then you have two notches here and here. So you can use either one, let's say, to grip. So it's like Kamen Rider Claws Evol is holding the Pandora box like this. He doesn't come with any weapons as you saw in the package earlier, but instead he has this. Now, the last thing we have here is the stand, and as you can see, it has a separated joint. So you can remove this part right here if you want to use only this one. Now, looking at this sideways, you have these parts here, which originally for older, older figures, you have your shoulder parts attached right here. You take them out and you attach it to this to the shoulders like this one. But again, for this guy right here, you already have the shoulder armor attached once you open the packaging. And then you also have this notch right here, which was originally used for figures with dummy heads, but this doesn't have a dummy head, so I don't think this is necessary. Actually, these parts I think are also unnecessary. So going to this part, you can move it like this. So if you want a more dynamic pose, you can absolutely do that. But even without the stand, you can actually use the robes, to actually support the figure if you want. I actually tried when I posted the picture on the J Fusion fan page. When I posted the picture of this guy on the Facebook page, the robes were actually supporting the figure while he's doing the pose. So let's do that. So I am going to pose the figure. You know, this looks better. So the left hand forward, and the right hand goes a bit back. Maybe roll a little bit. There you go. Turn the head. Open the robes. Move the legs a bit. Move the knee. Well, it's not perfect pose, but yeah. So like get an action pose. So as you can see here, you have like red painted onto the arm. Yeah, that's painted. Also the white here, by the way. So a lot of the white parts, especially in this robe, except for this one, that's part of the sticker, but the rest are painted. The shoulders, except for this part right here, you know, those are stickers. The head, most of the white parts are also painted on. So yeah, so this actually reminds me of Charizard from Pokemon X. His X evolution looks like this. He's a black dragon with a white or gray jaw, and then he has blue flames. So again, this kind of reminds me of Charizard's X evolution. So yeah, that's the main figure, and using the stand. Oh, it's unnecessary, I guess. So you can do it like this, maybe. But the problem is like all the weight, like moving it back, for example, is a problem, I guess. Like the weight distribution becomes a problem. So like, for example, doing variation of his rider kick, which I'm trying to do right now. So I'm going to make him do like a front bicycle kick type attack. So there you go. So like this. Of course, his rider kick is akin to a more typical flying side kick. So you also have the joint here, of course. So that's how he looks like, but again, it's rather back heavy. So you might need to be careful on how you balance this thing. But again, if you don't feel like you don't want this part right here, you can actually remove it. So yeah, so I just popped it off. So you can use it normally, like just like this. So it's actually hard. There we go. So again, you can use it normally like this, or you can add this part if you want, but I'm going to remove this stand. So there you go. So that's Kamen Rider Claws Evol. Now I'm actually going to compare this with an older figure that I have. So there you go, the shoulders. Like I said, the jacket sometimes gets in the way of the shoulder. So there you go. Now I'm gonna compare this Claws Evol with the Claws build that I have, seeing that they are quite similar. Of course, this has elements from Kamen Rider build. Of course, you have Kamen Rider Claws represented as well, and you will see differences in their design. So like, for example, the shoulder armor here is the much more simpler design of the original Claws costume. The dragon eye right there isn't painted on, although this silver lining right here is painted. This one is actually sticker. Yeah, you put the sticker on, so it's sticker, not painted. And of course, you obviously have the single side of the jacket, and of course, despite having similar robe parts, you can obviously see that this is more similar to Claw's, Evol black hole form. They do have similar slits here on the left robe, so you can still see the bottle holder right there. So I recommend that you put the bottle holder under the slit, so you only need the slit for it to be visible. Now, comparing the stands of these two figures, so this is the stand parts for, these are the stand parts for Kamen Rider Claws build, and as you can see, this did not have the parts for the shoulder armor, the notch for the dummy head, which I really think were unnecessary for this one. Like, you did not have to remove the shoulder parts from here, you already have it on, and I don't think it's actually necessary to remove them once you put them onto the figure. So again, these parts are unnecessary, especially the notch for the dummy head. Again, you didn't have a dummy head, so why would you need this, right? So again, to me, it would make much more sense if the stand was designed like this. Actually, like a normal plain stand, like without the extra parts right here, would be more ideal. But yeah, so for the rating, the design is actually great. I'm not sure if Bandai is going to release an RKF version of this one. An SHF may probably be on the way soon. We just don't know when it's gonna be announced, but if you want the cheapest option, this is the cheapest you can get. If you want, especially if you like, claws, just like me, I actually have including the RKF. So I have Claws Magma Sodo. I have the original. I have the original RKF for Kamen Rider Claws. And if you want to include Claws build, then I guess it counts. Although this is technically Kamen Rider build, but yeah. Anyway, so for weapons, well, again, he doesn't have one. Instead, you get this. I much prefer if they included the beat claws, or at least it looks good on him. Although I do understand that in the DVD movie, this guy never used any weapons at all. Although Kamen Rider Killbus is coming out soon on for the Soda. So if you want to recreate their battle in the movie, then you can get this, and then later you can also get Killbus as well. So yeah. So for this figure, I'm actually gonna rate this a 4 out of 5. Again, the design looks cool in general, and you still can do a lot of action poses with it. So like punching pose, rider kick pose, and if you have other solo parts like for example, I actually have the full bottle buster here. Like you can borrow this one. By the way, this came in with the genius form. So like I'm actually gonna put this right here. It's like Claws Evol holding Evol Bottle Buster sword. So that's actually fine. So there you go. Like if they just changed the stand, sorry, like if they just changed the stand, I think that would have been better. But yeah, overall, this is still a pretty good build. So again, well, it's not much of a problem. Like they patterned this one based on the 2017-18 lineup again with the original build. So you don't have movable hands or interchangeable hands for these guys. But anyway, that's like it's not a very big problem, but again, I would much appreciate it if they actually designed these figures like they did with the Geo figures anyway, because again, you have the fist slash grip hands, and you have like somewhat open hands for more dynamic posing. Like if Bandai did that for this figure, that would have made this one perfect. But that's just me. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please do leave a like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you get the latest from J Fusion. This has been Philip, and I'll see you on the next toy review.